Hey guys, welcome back. Now if you've ever wondered how to build real muscle without falling down the rabbit hole of bro science and crazy TikTok videos, stay tuned. I'm going to try and break this down into 5 levels, basically from noob to pro. So we'll start things off simple, we'll try and get a little deeper as we go along. Each level should hopefully teach you something new, so whether you're brand new to lifting, or maybe you're already moving some crazy ass weights, there's something here that should help you. I've been a bodybuilder for many years. I don't compete anymore, but I do still coach and try to keep up to date. And to be fair, I've been studying the science of building muscle for decades. We all want to know the secret. Or is there a secret? Stay tuned, find out. We may as well just get stuck into it. And I'll tell you what, stick it in the comments below which level you thought was more appropriate or more informative. So we'll just start with the basics here. If you want to build muscle, you need 2 things. A reason for the muscle to grow, and obviously the raw materials to make it happen. Now here, the way I like to think about this in an easy to understand format is think of your muscles like a construction site, like you're building a house. Weight training is your builder shouting that you need to build faster. And your protein, well, they're the bricks that will actually make it happen. Your body sort of thinks to itself, we're going to have to keep moving these heavy ass weights, we better do something about it. And here's the truth about when you're in the gym. Just doing the same workout, week in, week out, isn't going to cut it. You need to have progressive overload, so you either add weight, reduce time, increase your reps, slow down the negative portion so you make it harder. All them things are slight tweaks, and that's how you progress. That's how the muscle responds to the new stimulus or the new stress that you're creating, and that'll help build more muscle, or at least send a signal to build more muscle. So as an example, you're in the gym doing bench press or you're doing bicep curls, and on week 1, you know, I don't know, 3 sets of 10 reps. Week 2, you might do 3 sets of 11 reps. So, might not sound like much, but it's 1 more rep. Week 3, you hit 12 reps. So you sort of think to yourself, well, you know what, week 4, I'll maybe increase the weight, because we're going up in the reps, we're now hit 12 reps. 12 might be your target number. So, an extra couple of kilo, reduce them reps back down, start again. Build the reps up, and then you get stronger, and that is progression. Pretty simple. So a good rule of thumb is around 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, roughly. Now, some people take it higher, and there is research that shows that's effective. It also helps curb the appetite if you're overeating. But likewise, if you're a heavy guy, you're carrying more body fat than you need to, you can't always go by them numbers because you're going to overeat protein. And if you're trying to lose body fat, you know, protein's still calories at the end of the day, and I'm sure the other calories are going to add up. Now, yes, I know there's research that shows, well, if you overeat protein, you don't gain fat. True, but likewise, you're not also going to lose fat because your calories are high. So the other way to work it out would be take your height in centimeters. So for myself, I'm 5'11", which is 181 centimeters. 1 gram of protein per centimeter of height. In my example, I would eat 181 grams of protein. Now, I do take my protein higher. I take it in around 250 grams to 300 grams, roughly on average. Don't be worrying about timing all these meals perfectly. The main thing is that you get them. Your overall protein throughout the day is going to be more important than the amount you eat per meal. And before anybody thinks you're not stuck to 20 grams or 30 grams per meal, that used to be the belief, you know, any more than 30 grams of protein, your body won't utilize it. Absolute bullshit. You can utilize, I believe in the research, up to 100 grams of protein. So that will stimulate muscle protein synthesis and increase the rate of growth muscle. After all this, hopefully you're lifting a bit smarter, eating a bit smarter. We need to look at other variables, which really boils down to volume, intensity, and effort. And that might sound like the same thing, intensity and effort, but stick with me, it's actually not. For effort, you don't need to be hitting failure every single workout or every single set that you do, But you do want to be getting close to failure. People would say, leave your reps in reserve. I don't really like reps in reserve, but if you're leaving 2 or 3 reps on the table, you're close to failure. You're not going to tax the body too much or potentially injure yourself, but it's enough to stimulate, once again, muscle protein synthesis. For people starting out, I normally just say train to failure, because most people's idea of reps in reserve is way off. They'll stop 2 or 3 reps in reserve, but in reality there could be 7 or 8 reps in reserve, which means you haven't actually put enough effort into your set to stimulate muscle. You might get fatigued after it, you're still training, but you're not actually training hard enough. Now, intensity, which most people will think effort is intensity. I'm training hard, so I'm training intense. In the fitness world, well, I suppose that's wrong, it's not in the fitness world. In the sports science world, intensity actually refers to how heavy the weight is. You don't want to be going all out heavy, because you'd be more training for muscular strength. And likewise, you don't want to be going super light because you're training for muscular endurance. You want to find a wee bit in between. Personally, I like 8 to 12 reps. Jay Cutler likes 8 to 12 reps. He always stuck around that. Guy was jacked to the shit. It worked for him. But the other thing is, if you go down to 6 reps, you're still going to grow muscle, but you risk more chance of joint injuries or a pulled muscle. And if you go up to 30 reps, you're just going to get fucking bored counting. There is a time and a place for all of this, of course. You base it on your needs, but in around 8 to 12 reps is the sweet spot for a reason. And obviously good compound lifts offer the most bang for their buck. You're recruiting more muscle. Doesn't mean you have to stick to the squat. If you have a bob back or whatever, leg press is a good alternative. You don't have to be deadlifting. If you like the exercises, do them, but likewise, if you have an injury or they're causing you injury, just find a suitable alternative. Isolation exercises are also good. I don't knock them, I do use them, but I wouldn't make them the main portion of the exercise. I would normally leave them to, after you've done your main lifts, just to really focus down on the muscle a wee bit more. Good for pump sets and squeezing, but if you're starting off with these really slow single cable and you're on your knees, you're not really putting much effort into it really. If you actually load enough weight onto that machine, it's going to lift you off the ground because you're not supported. But that's a whole other story. And as I touched on there, frequency, it probably is better to hit the muscle twice a week. Upper, lower, push, pull legs. If you're starting out, maybe a full body split, but it's not to be all and end all. A lot of people diss the bro split. It's not effective anymore. There's scientific literature and fuck them guys. You train how you enjoy training. A lot of bodybuilders who are the most jacked people on earth used to train with a bro split. There's no way it doesn't work. It does work, and I've trained like that for years. I do like the push-pull leg format because I prefer the frequency as well. If I'm stuck for time, I'm not in the gym for an hour. Push-pull legs, you really can get out of the road 35 to 45 minutes. Let's go a wee bit more in depth and talk about what actually makes the muscle grow. And the short answer is mechanical tension. And I'm sure you have all heard this battled about. Tension basically equals the force that the muscle is under. Muscle damage doesn't always correlate to muscle growth, because at the end of the day, if you annihilate the muscle and you destroy it, it takes a lot of protein, a lot of recovery to get that muscle back to where it was before it can then grow. In them cases, you could actually be losing muscle because you're just breaking it down so much. The body doesn't have the ability to keep up with the amino acids needed. The pump, let's be honest, Arnie loved the pump.
The greatest feeling you can get in a gym, or the most satisfying feeling you can get in the gym, is the pump. Let's say you train your biceps. Blood is rushing into your muscles, and that's what we call the pump. Your muscles get a really tight feeling, like your skin is going to explode any minute.
It feels fucking great. Doesn't always equal muscle growth either. You can take a lot shorter rest periods. You can go higher rep, the muscle pump will be there. Generally, the pump is a good indication that you're training that muscle correctly. You have a good mind-muscle connection. But you want to try and get a pump with the right load, with the right effort, because at least that way you're stimulating the muscle. And that really brings us back to tension, mechanical tension. It always wins. So long as you have enough stress or load on the muscle, it'll be stimulated to grow. So what actually works? Controlled eccentrics, a good strong mind muscle connection, because you want to lock in on your muscle. If you're sitting thinking about what the hell you're going to have for tea, or the argument you had with your missus before you left the house, you're not really concentrating on the muscle you're training. And obviously good form under load, because if you're firing the weights up, you're not controlling the weight. That's not going to put enough tension on the muscle. Likewise, you're more likely to injure yourself. An injury will just set everything back. Trust me on that, I've had a lot of injuries over the years. The main takeaway, make your training about maximising mechanical tension and not just chasing the DOMs, the soreness after your workout. And once again, if you listen to some of the top bodybuilders, they don't really get sore. Now, you will get sore on a new program because it's a new stimulation, but that should sort of fade after a couple of weeks. And so long as you're progressing in the weights, you're controlling the weight that you lift, you're controlling the movement, muscle will ramp up. What is the process then? Your muscle feels all this tension. What the hell happens? It sends a signal, which is a biochemical signal to grow. And basically that signal is it activates the mTOR pathway, which is a really powerful molecule, and that signals muscles to grow. Nobody really knows all the ins and outs about it, but what we do know is tension is the main activator of it. And before anybody argues, there is other activators. High protein diet will activate mTOR to a certain degree. Extra leucine in your diet, I believe 3 grams per meal, has also been shown to activate mTOR. But just listen, none of that will activate mTOR as powerful as actually training. Hopefully someday in the near future, we'll have an exercise pill. You can pop one, go to the gym, won't be like steroids, you'll have no side effects, it'll activate the mTOR, it'll be a really strong signal, you'll lose fat, you'll grow muscle. But here, when the fuck's that going to happen? Because we've had all these drugs for years, to be honest, and you still have to work your ass off. It doesn't come easy, regardless of the people who think that it's all steroids or it's all drugs. It's not. It's still hard training, hard eating, effort. You cannot achieve anything without the effort. So the takeaway here is every training session you do should be designed to stimulate tension. And that's how they all work. You know, even the research that shows stretch a muscle under load, it helps stimulate the muscle to grow. Well, what do you think's really happening there? The muscle's under tension. I know you're not moving, but there's still tension built up in the muscle. That's a whole other research, but it is part of the DC training, which Dante Trudel invented, which is very effective, by the way. And you will experience a lot of tension doing that. It's brutal, but strength gains are crazy on it. To wrap up, lift your weights, eat your protein, progressively overload in some aspect, weights, reps, tempo, time. Try to maximize the amount of tension on the muscle and just fucking enjoy it. If you want that even basicer, train hard, eat good, and eat a shit ton of protein, and you will effectively grow muscle.